Listen, I'm not a professional. I forgot to have it ready. I thought that it automatically would start playing after the stupid countdown, and it didn't. So I'm panicking over here.
I,
Welcome to
I
my.
like I like how I'm just going like this, and then and you're just like with your face. Oh, it was a moment. That was
I'm
a great
looking
moment.
like, where is it? Welcome to my weekly meltdown. I'm Allison, and this is Beth. And Beth's going to take the lead tonight on Survivor, and because that's the way Tyler would want it. When he's not here, he doesn't want me, obviously, doing anything but just sitting here and playing with my
I
hair.
have to say, you gave us not one but two intros. So
I did.
generous.
I felt, we there were a lot of doubles tonight.
Lots of doubles.
There's a
And
lot of doubles.
wait until people see how amazing you did at the graphic for honestly, like Tyler, you should go on vacation more often because Allison is straight up killing the game.
We're going to go ahead and bring up we're going to do things bass backwards. And I'm going to go ahead and bring up the draft because, spoiler, if you haven't watched it yet, why are you here? Hello to everyone in the chat. DM Rocks, Joseph Boza, Black Widow Brigade, Juan Washington Cruz, Linda Maxwell,
and Adrian.
Yes, guys, it's moment of truth. I'm going to go ahead and bring it up because
remember, this is a spoiler.
Spoiler.
These are the people who went.
So this is not something that we're used to seeing, and that would be Allison showing the draft with her art. I mean, snipped
artfully done. And I said this before. Look at how beautiful she colored Jackson's face a little bit with highlighter. I like to think she was trying to go for an Elton John sunglasses kind of look and then just got a little carried away. And then just that beautiful X that starts off so straight and then goes so squiggly.
Well, let me tell you what really happened. I don't think that far ahead. So what happened is I thought, what if I'm going to use the highlighter option and snip it. And I'm just going to highlight Jackson and Zach here. And as soon as I started it, I was like, damn it. I'm too lazy to hit the undo button because we're already running behind. So I'm like, damn it. Fine. We lost Jackson. We lost Zach. Beth, we lost two people. Tyler cannot win this draft.
Okay, we need to put this out there, okay, immediately. We do need Tyler to come back and for us to go on vacation purely so that we don't lose more people and he just does.
Right. I feel like
that's Survivor, my weekly meltdown math.
Yes, this is how it works. We go on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
It's a double. It's a double tribal. And he loses two people.
Ooh,
I think that works. I think that works.
I think it does. Also, just the part where I think we go on vacation together. I think it's just the two of us and we have a good time.
Yeah. Hey, Charlie. Charlie's in the chat. How are you doing, honey? Hello.
All right. So
well, let's
Allison,
get into it. Yes.
Yeah. What were your thoughts? This is the first episode of Survivor 42. We already knew with Survivor 41 what a few of these different twists would be. We get introduced to this amulet twist from the very first challenge. But overall, what are your overall thoughts of the episode?
Well, I think as our group chat goes, the very beginning with the let's work together. Let's cover ourselves in mud and sand, the three of them, and then fake blood. Where does the fake blood come into play? Why? What is this, the movie Carrie?
Also,
where did the blood come from?
Aren't they going to realize once you wash everything off that there's no place that is openly bleeding on your body? Like there's going to be no marks. So if you're going to go the blood route, you better be sitting there like, bitch, I'm going to scrape up your abdomen right now.
If I'm a guy, though, excuse me. Hello, how are you? Hi. If I'm a guy and I see a woman covered in blood, I'm not going to question it.
Right.
I'm just going to say, wow, maybe get on birth
control. Were they required to put the blood on?
No, they weren't required to do any of that. But I just, wow, you're covered in a lot of blood. Where did it come from?
That was my favorite quote. Lydia being so concerned for Hai and saying, that you were bleeding a lot, which also tells me they did a really shit job of how much blood to put on, because she's like, you should probably be in the hospital. Like, that's how concerned she was.
Medivac. Look,
Medivac.
Charlie
Yes.
says it came from Wilson, the volleyball. It
There
could
we
have.
go. Yes.
There's no telling where it could come from, but I'm just kind of, you're not rubbing anything on me. Let's just figure it out, do it together. Why do we have to look like we're covered in anything? Just sweat. Sweat is enough.
I didn't understand that either. Like, why didn't they just roll around in the sand only? Then they could have just been like, yeah, it was actually quite a bit. Like, we all fell. It was dramatic, blah, 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 blah. Like, they were like, you can put yourself, I get that that's just kind of fun at that point. But also, did nobody else catch that it was just their upper bodies and their faces that were covered in mud? My eagle, I would have been like, how come your shoes aren't covered in mud? And are you running through it? Like, how did you get it here, but not on the place that is supporting your body? Even if you had to fell face first into the mud, you still got to step in the mud to push yourself back up. So there's just so many questions that I'd be sitting there and be like, those three did something. Those three did something. Everybody, everybody.
My Dateline NBC ass is looking you up and down going, no, you didn't just do anything but chit chat.
Yeah.
And then rub each other down.
Exactly. Jeff, did you approve for them to rub each other down? Oh, you did? Okay,
so
Jeff's
I've got a question. Where did the blood come from, Jeff?
Yeah.
Answer that, Jeff.
And that's the other thing, too. I just sat back and I was like, it was such a weird thing that it was like an afterthought that they're sitting here with like these big vial like pits or whatever. And they're like, by the way, here's some mud and some blood. And I was like, for what? Yeah, you're on a sandy beach.
Jeff was really on his A game tonight, especially, and we'll get to this because I know
he was posing.
Posing, and I know Tyler's dying right now watching us in the airport. When he went to talk to Jackson, and Jackson starts talking about the medicine and everything, and Jeff just throws there, well, I wasn't going to bring it up. I was just going to have the conversation. What do you think's going to happen, Jeff, when you show up in a boat and you pull me aside and no one else?
Well, here's the thing. He meant like he wasn't going to say what the medication was, all that stuff. Which my favorite part about it is like, yeah, because legally you can't say anything, Jeff. Right. He's got to be the one who brings it up.
I'm sitting here thinking Jackson's got cancer. Something's going on here. Spit it out.
I do think the way in which he had the conversation was fine, but we actually need to get into this. Like, just so y'all know, this is not a Tyler very organized chronological
start in the middle and move our way.
We started at the end of the show. Now we went back to the beginning. Now we're in the middle. Like, so y'all just got to keep up. It's Allison and Beth time. It's girls' night. Right. This is how it's going to happen.
Right.
Let's talk about this, Allison. So in the middle of, technically the second hour or whatever of the episode, we get Jeff going to the Orange Tribe's camp on a boat and pulls Jackson off to the side. This is a second after Lindsay is yelling at Jackson for saying you were dehydrated for 10 hours and like dizzy. I'm going to be on you about drinking water. Takes him off to the side. And he has a pretty veiled conversation about being like, hey, you updated us about your medical history hours before shooting, like 12 hours, essentially, probably like the night before we were going to start shooting. And something like he basically says, hey, there was a change in your medical history that happened and we didn't know how to handle that. So we just decided to let you play because we knew that it wouldn't impact the first 24, 48 hours of the game.
Right.
But we aren't sure how it's going to impact moving forward.
No.
So he says, we are not going to take that risk because, and Jackson opens up and says, he had been taking lithium for a number of years and he's been, weaning off of that, which can have certain effects. And so he thought it was fine because he was like, I didn't want to let you guys know and not be able to play, but I had it worked out with my family and with my wife who's a nurse, and we all knew that I'd be fine when I came out here. But that's also not a liability from a CBS standpoint that they can take, right? So I understand that. Allison, what I don't understand is Why not just pull him right before the game? I know that just starts off the tribes with uneven numbers, but it comes across as very, hey, we need your storyline for a couple days and then we can take you out.
I feel like I have to agree with Joseph Boza that Jeff loves to milk shit. And I have to agree with that. I became very invested in Jackson. I cried during his backstory, his testimony about, I feel was divine intervention, bringing him and his father together at the time of his mother's death. I found touching. And yeah, I got a little emotional and shed some tears. So what?
Yep.
Then you turn around and you pull him from the game. Why not just not let him play and bring him on for season 43? Why do you have to do just so you can have a story? I mean, it is uplifting and inspiring for someone in that position. I understand. I found it interesting that he originally auditioned as a woman.
Yeah.
And I thought that was great. And it is, but why even do this to him? I just felt like.
And I also want to say here too, right? This is a really tricky situation because if you're production and you're saying, oh, because I don't know what their protocols are. I don't know what the COVID protocols are.
Did you not think, I'm sorry, guys. Did you not think this?
Oh, I thought so too. Adrian,
Adrian says, yeah, I thought Jackson was being pulled for literally not updating about his transition, but thank God. Yeah, me too.
We would be with pitchforks in the streets right now if that were the case. But no, but I want to talk about a few things, right? Because this isn't cut and dry, black and white. Like, I think that there's fault with Jackson for not updating sooner, because if that were to be a concern that he wouldn't play, which clearly he knew could be a concern, which is why he didn't update them until the night before.
Yeah.
Then that's a situation where you gotta hope, and if production really loves you, which apparently they did, that they'll put you on a future season. Your health comes first before anything else. So I understand what Jackson's doing, but you also have to put a little bit of like, hey, the onus is a little bit on him. Now let's cut to production too. I don't like the way in which they did this, because like I said, because even if their intent was not to tokenize him, it comes across as tokenism. Oh yeah, we had the trans man on the show. We got a story out, and now we can take him off the show because we're afraid that he might get hurt. The concern for welfare is important. And not only just in terms of liability, but just because, Jackson is a human being who we want to make sure he's safe.
Yeah.
But what I don't like, and I wish they were clearer about this, we all know that there are backups for these shows. Is the timing because of COVID that they couldn't get a backup person that quickly? Maybe there were protocols that were in place. Had press already been done and they were like, we don't have a backup person for the press reasons, blah, 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 blah. If it's that kind of bureaucracy stuff, that's on production. Because what they literally then said was, this could hurt him, but probably won't for 24, 48 hours. Which is also insane, because that's basically saying we're not sure. We'll take the risk for 24, 48 hours. It comes across as just wanting the story then.
Yeah, it like you said, tokenized. I didn't like that at all. I'm like Adrian and you. I'm like, at first I thought it was because he didn't disclose. Maybe he had a final surgery or something with the transition, or I thought he had. Poor guy's got cancer or something terrible is happening and I don't know what's going on, and he's weaning himself off lithium. He shouldn't have been there in the first place. Production and Survivor, I believe, dropped the ball on this. Personally, I feel like that we'll bring you on next season. Don't do this to somebody for a story.
I also generally feel like I can understand again why Jackson wouldn't disclose it. You think of people like Pat from David versus Goliath, who has that back injury on the way back from the first immunity challenge.
Mm-hmm.
You would think he would be a shoo-in to be like, we brought this guy back. He didn't even go to tribal council. He'd be quote unquote a returning player, but he didn't play. Like, he put together a shelter and then got out of the game. It'd be the same thing with Jackson in this situation, but I just kind of feel like, why put yourself in that situation? You either then find a backup or be very open from the very beginning on this. Hey, Just so you
Yeah.
all know, there was a last minute thing, and got to be open with it with all the tribes for the cameras. You got to tell Jackson ahead of time, but he signed off his life to be on national television to talk about some of this stuff that you don't have to go into details, but you have to say, hey, we had a last minute medical thing that came up. There's a huge possibility that somebody on this season may not be able to play in the next. We are assessing this right now, but it happened last night. Be open about it. Like, this isn't some alternate universe and then you come and bring it back to our world. Like, we all understand more than ever how important health shit is and that it's constantly changing. You're telling us that in a 2.5 years of fucking COVID, people wouldn't understand that one day you're fine, the next day you can't be?
22 years this show's been on. We don't have a backup plan. We don't have someone they could just
And
pull
that's what I'm
out of the
saying.
bin here.
I don't know if it's a COVID thing, right? If they're like, hey,
Yeah.
we had to have so many people quarantined for 3 days and follow these processes with the press and all that kind of stuff before they play the game. In
Yeah.
which case, like you said, Allison, have a fucking backup plan. Have your backups do press and let them know you are a backup. Like, you can do the press in case you make it on the show. And
Did
then
they try to call Tyler and he just didn't pick up?
he was in
I
freaking
mean,
Singapore. No, just kidding.
Tyler, did you not pick up when they called? Because look what happened. You could have been Jackson's replacement. Just
saying.
go ahead. Do
Just
you,
saying.
though. Keep doing you.
Let's just blame Tyler for this because he's boarded his plane. So, by the way, we hope
Like
you have a
talking on
safe
the
flight.
phone. Yeah, have a safe flight. Don't crash. I mean, he doesn't like talking on the phone, period. They only like to text these millennials. And so that's what you get for not
I'm a
answering.
millennial.
Well, yeah, but you're not a
I
Tyler.
want to drunkenly talk to you on the phone, but no, I'm watching a movie with my husband.
I was.
Allison.
I'm sorry. You're not a Tylenial. How about that?
Tylenial, though.
Tylenials don't write in cursive. Tylenials
I'm a
don't take
Bethlenial.
handwritten notes.
I do.
Tylenials
Wait, am
don't
I
listen to
actually
me
a
when
Gen
I speak.
Xer? I think I'm actually a Gen Xer. Also, I learned that Gen Zers call millennials the old young people.
I don't know what I am. I was born in
You're
1977,
Gen
so
X.
I guess I saw somewhere where I'm a millennial and
No,
it
you are
starts
not.
at 1977, and I'm like,
No, it does not.
no,
Millennial starts at
no.
1980, 1981. But
Yeah.
even then, there's two different millennials. There's the oldest millennials, which is 80 to 85. They're technically like Gen Y, right? So they're
Yeah.
millennials, but they're like, they really bridge that gap. Millennials are like 85, 86 to about 94, 95. It's that decade.
Right.
I was 88, full-blown millennial.
And a Tylenial is just November 10th or something,
11th.
1992 or 1 or whatever year he was born in, Tylenial.
You know what? I want to say it was 91, but then I get upset when I think about it. No, I think it was probably like 93, in which case I was like, no. I was well established in my school at that time as a
I was
kindergartner.
16 in 1993.
Were you driving?
No, I failed my driving test. I know that's a shocker. I didn't get my license till I was 18. But let's get back to Survivor because Tyler's
on my driving. So
Tyler is flipping out right now. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So we have this moment with Jackson. We've kind of talked through that a little bit, but instantly before they even have the first immunity challenge, we have one person from the Orange Tribe out, but that doesn't seem to slow them down. Here's my theory and another reason of why I think production has just fucked over some of this cast.
Yeah.
Why were we having the Orange team who had Jackson, who's clearly strong, Jonathan, who's clearly the beast of the season, and Omar or Amr? I think Jeff was pronouncing it Amr, so I'm going to say Amr until I hear Omar or whatever. 3 clearly bigger built dudes. You have the Green Tribe, where you've got a pretty good balance of people. Blue Tribe has the 2 skinny dudes under 120 on their team. And
I'm freaking out at that weight.
What? Tell me about it. Want to know the last time I was 120? 2000. I was in 7th grade. But here's the thing. Like, I don't understand why they put and believe me, I'm not trying to be like, hey, you're skinny, so therefore you're not strong. But this challenge kind of proves that tribal division in terms of physical strength, if Drea and Tori are the two that are really pushing it, Roxroy, who is arguably out of all the built guys, probably the least built, like I
Yeah.
would have probably switched Romeo with like Amr. And that would have been like, I think, perfectly divisible across all the tribes. But I just feel like the tribe divisions are really weird when it comes to like strengths. Now, clearly the blue team does win the opening challenge and they
True.
get their pots and, machete and all that kind of stuff. But I just felt like when you're going to have these team challenges that are super physical, blue team, I think we're going to see blue tribe at tribal a lot.
And wow, Zach, man, what a okay. Can we talk about Zach and the
Please.
dice? Too early, do you think?
No,
Or
not at all.
no? Okay.
Well, because he knew every single person was voting for him. So even if he voted, it's not like it was going to be the tie-breaking vote there, right?
But why pick him over Tori when there's a chance she could have had an idol or
I
some
think
kind of
that
advantage?
so I think that what they were looking at was tribe strength at the end of the day. And you
Okay.
also had you had Roxroy, who was pretty adamant that no, we're not doing that. And people
Man, he was
kind
giving
of
me
just
anxiety.
I know. I
Oh, dude, chill. I
I
get it.
love this kind of background we got from him, which is like, hey, I'm used to like yelling at kids all day, and now I have to
Yeah.
remember I'm with adults and I can't yell at them the same way. And I
No,
was like, yeah, I just
you
want to put out there that you probably
you
shouldn't be
can.
yelling at kids that way either.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The singing I am so freaking grandma-ized now that
Yeah.
if I'm trying to get something done and it's serious business, like shelter, and you want to be singing the survivor anthem while we need to be building yeah, I get Roxroy on that because I would have been like, guys, come on, it's cute. Some of you some of you it's not
But
cute.
it's not like they weren't doing anything. They were working while they were singing.
They were getting on my nerves. That's something.
I think that that's fine then to say like, hey guys, I know that we're having a good time and all
Yeah.
this kind of stuff, but I'm so sorry. This is really annoying me. Can we like calm this down a little bit? I'm sorry to be the wet blanket, that kind of thing. That's fine. But he's sitting there like they're not even working as they're chopping down stuff and doing the bomb
That
drops.
I
I'm like,
get.
they're working, buddy. I don't know what else to tell you.
You know what Roxroy reminds me of? That guy at work when everyone's like, it's Friday or it's Monday and everybody's huddled around and we're talking about the weekend or what we're gonna do.
The wine
We're
cooler.
having a good time in the break room. And Roxroy walks in and he's getting and walks up to somebody, starts talking work or just being slamming shit around because he's not,
Hey guys,
he's a
I
Linda.
know this is really exciting and everything,
He's a
but
Linda.
we've got some emails to send. It was a
Yeah.
weekend, and
Did you get that email out?
did you get
Did you
that
report
email
out?
out? Yeah,
Did
I've
you get
been,
that report
I
out?
know it's 9:12, and I'm still waiting
Yeah.
on it. That's that guy. I 100% agree.
Yeah, Beth, I noticed on that email, you didn't copy the email to me. You didn't copy my manager and your manager. And that kind of shit has to happen. Like, so can you, go back and resend the email?
I want you to be fully aware that even though this was a joke, I was just severely triggered in this moment of like
I am
this.
too. This happens. This is real life.
This is real life. But I also just realized, and I've thought this before, right? So for those that know, like obviously Tori played Sequester and we watched her there, but then I also had the opportunity to play with her online a couple times. And I knew this from the time I watched her on season 3 of Sequester. I have the same facial expressions as her. So even when you were doing that right now, I was going like, like
Yeah, I gotta say it's happening.
No,
It's happening.
100%. And that's why I was like, you know what? I'm taking notes when I'm watching her right now, like what not to do, because Tori made a lot of mistakes tonight. Going off on her own, even for 10 minutes, you don't do it. You don't do it. Number one, wait until your first tribal's over. Then go out in the woods all you want. You gotta wait. So there's
What if I got a pee, Beth? I dig a hole right there in the middle of next to the fire. Hold on, guys. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, right. The other thing,
It's like a
I think
cat
it maybe
burying.
ultimately saved her because I do think that she does have a high level of emotional intelligence. Like she really
Oh
does know
yeah.
how to read people. She's charismatic in that way. But I don't know if I would have been like, everyone gather around. Everyone thinks I have an idol, but I don't have one. Like, I don't know if I would have done that move. I do think that it ended up helping her, but
It's
it
too
only
busy for
helped
a
her
house
because she
meeting.
went right to Drea because
Yeah,
she
it's too
knew that Drea was one of the two strong like leaders of the tribe. And so if she
right.
could get squared away with Drea, then she'd be fine. So I do think that ended up helping her, but risky move. I would not have like
It's too busy
thrown
for a
people
house
under the
meeting.
bus.
It's too busy.
Yeah.
You know what I noticed tonight?
Yeah,
I
tell
have
me.
the same facial expressions as Jeff Prost. Are you ready?
Oh God.
Okay.
Great time. For those of us who are those of you who are listening on the
You haven't
podcast,
turned off yet.
yeah, we would highly encourage you to go check out the video on YouTube or on my Twitch channel so you can have that beautiful moment. But just remember, every scary smile that Jeff Probst did in this episode, that's what we were trying to recreate. I want to go back to this modeling thing. In the very beginning, when he's going, dude in the back, like, what's your name? Like, tell me about something, blah, 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 right? There's a moment where Mike's like, I'm on the beach with Jeff Probst. Like, this is crazy. I can't wait to tell my friends about it. They're not going to believe it, blah, blah, blah. And Jeff is literally living his America's Next Top Model moment where he's sitting there and he's like, and he literally goes, who, me? like, I was
Jeff
expecting a
Probst.
Real Housewives moment where he was like, I'm not the one that you
He
want to
could
come to
swing
unless
that
you want.
hair.
I would have fucking died. He has long enough hair. If he just gone like this, like, I will snuff out your torch without even thinking twice. Like doing something like super sassy. I would love for that. I also want him to do a RuPaul's Drag Race like moment where he's just like working the runway down at a challenge and being like, then you're going to go down this route right here with your bow on the track. It like just like sass it up, Jeff.
I feel
Sass
like
it
he
up.
might do that behind closed doors,
Sissy
but I'm
Cat
just saying.
Challenge.
Yeah. I don't know him personally, but I could see it. I could see some garter belt action. I could see him dressed up as Dr. Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror Picture. If he's got the hair, tease it up, Jeff.
Oh
It's
my
Halloween
God.
in 7 months.
That
You're a
is
sweet
a cursed
from
image in my head right now.
Transylvania. Sexual Transylvania. Anyway, now you've got the mental picture.
I
Let's finish the show with
it's
that in your mind.
it's Tim Curry,
Yeah.
but Jeff Probst's face now.
Yeah.
And it's
there.
cursed. It's
Just
cursed.
let it soak.
And he's going, you gotta dig, woman.
You gotta dig, woman.
Actually, okay. Woman to Jeff is how he speaks to women.
Yeah.
Brother is how he speaks to men. I know that I've known this,
Who's
but
a
tonight,
dude though?
no, today he literally is like, you're on Survivor, brother. Like that. I was like,
I
what
hate
is this
that.
WWE? What is going on?
Can I say something like it's like a big thing, like in the South? That's a big thing down here.
WWE.
Yeah, brother. How you doing, brother? Brother. Sorry, there's cats falling again from the ceiling.
I didn't see it this time.
Well, yeah. Hey, sister. How you doing, sister?
See,
Sister?
on the coasts, it's very, hey sis. Hey sis. And
Nobody
what
even
up,
says
bro?
that here. Like
we are all about shortening to sis and bro, but it sounds like in the South it is sister and brother.
what up, sis? What up,
Hey,
bruh?
sis.
Bro, sis.
Hey sis. I say sis all the time, but I only say
sis.
I only say it to my fellow queers.
Okay, sorry, but I could be an honorary sis.
So let's kind of go back and let's talk about these tribes a little bit. Now we're going to go back to the begining.
Let's go back to the show.
Let's go back to the beginning of the episode. So we have these 3 different tribes, and I don't know what their tribe names are, so don't ask me. So they're orange, green, and blue. We've kind of talked a little bit about the tribal makeup when it comes to physical challenges, but how do you overall feel? Do you think that this is a good mix of personalities?
I think so. I didn't have a problem with anyone really. I thought Who was the guy that the model dude, the tall guy that Steven or something? I can't remember his
Jonathan?
name. Jonathan. He was different than what I had expected.
Mhm.
Um, I was really impressed with everyone. I didn't have a problem. I really enjoyed the Jackson story. The Mary Ann story really touched
Ugh.
me. I just had a conversation, Beth, with a young woman I'm mentoring who is 17 years old last week about what is weird about you and all that junk is what makes you special and sets you apart. And
Yep.
you will be remembered because you are not a cookie cutter cut out carbon copy of everyone else and you're
Yep.
not conforming. You are unique. You are a diamond in the rough. Own your I'm a freaking weirdo nerd ass geek. I don't give a shit. Girl, I freaked out today because they released the Kenobi trailer for Disney about Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I'm like, this is great. I'm trying to explain it to my 4-month-old grandson and he just farts at the end of the conversation. You know, it's just, it makes you special and you should own it. And man, when she said that, I thought, that's deep. I felt that,
And here's
sis.
the thing, it's sis, this is something
Sis.
that we see all the time on these shows, right? Like,
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah, if you're different, it sets you apart," and that kinda thing. What I like about it is that it's coming from a woman who for we've only met her for, like, a minute at this
Yeah.
time, right?
Hmm.
And I don't think a single one of us looked at her and went, "Wow, what a weirdo," right?
I didn't
But
think that
this
at all.
but here's the thing, people who know that they're different, whether it's because their taste and their likes are something that's different from what everybody else is into, or they just kind of march to the beat of their own drum, when they have that ability to take ownership about it and literally let their freak flag fly, which is hard to say for me, whatever. It's that ownership just gives you a genuine sense of self, and other people feel freer to be themselves. I have
Mhm.
said this for a long ass time, Allison. Once you stop judging people for all the little things that we think in our heads, but maybe don't come out of our mouths, for other people, they do come out of our mouths and we smack them upside the head for it. Once you release that judgment of other people, you don't feel the judgment of other people on the things that you are insecure about. So
Mhm.
if you stop and you start policing your thoughts and you really genuinely stop thinking of people of being weird and all that kind of stuff, all of a sudden everybody else, like, you don't feel people saying, "Oh, you're weird." And if somebody does say that to you, you're just kind of like, "All right." It's not as hurtful as it could be, right? So I just
Yeah.
love when you have these genuine moments with someone like Marianne who just comes across as like a sweetheart. Now, I will say this, Marianne, that was a hell of a cry when Jackson was leaving. You would have
Yeah.
thought he was
That was a
dying.
minute. That was a
That was
moment.
that was some Pangina Heels UK versus the world cry. And for anybody
It
who
was a
watched
lot.
Drag Race UK versus the world, you understand. That was a moment.
It was a
But I
lot.
will say, all of that was genuine to who she is.
Oh,
Um,
definitely.
and if you want to make friends in this game, you be genuine to who you are. You know what your genuine strengths and weaknesses are, and you lean into those.
Hmm. Lean into what makes you different. I trust me, that makes you special. Don't
Mhm.
ever change who you are because a group of people are deciding to be bullies and a-holes, because what's going on in their life that they got to pay attention and obsess on you. Pray for them. They need Jesus.
What I like about this premiere, like we had
Mhm.
last premiere as well, is that we have the opportunity to get to know pretty much everybody's story. And
Mhm.
it's really telling the people that they don't give a story to,
Mhm.
Tori. um, so it's who obviously you mentioned Jackson and Mary Ann, but are there other people in the cast that you kind of went, oh, I did not expect that from you? And why was that the case?
I expected Lydia to be a little bit more reserved and quiet,
Me
like,
too.
and she's not. And I was all for it. Like, yes, be out there, do your thing, and I really enjoyed that. And like I said, Jonathan was different from
Yep.
what I expected. Even Oh, I
Mike
don't
for
know.
me was I when I read his bio, he made it very clear that he wanted to come across as like empathetic and like caring about people and that he's a
Which
big
one is
teddy bear.
Mike?
Mike is the big guy who is the retired fireman from Hoboken.
Okay, he's different from what I thought.
So when I read his bio, he took a lot of time to really talk about like I want people to realize that like I genuinely care about people and I'm upset when people are not doing well in life and like I'm a big teddy bear. And that's not something you normally see from a retired fire. That's to say, hey, firefighters are obviously very empathetic and brave people, right? But
Mhm.
that's not the kind of talk that like in those so many words that you expect for someone, especially from like New Jersey, very masculine kind of area. So I so appreciated him. He seemed like he had a great sense of humor. He was smart and clearly knew when it came down to the, you know, the savvy or the strength challenge that he was like, let me do the math. I'd be the one doing this and I don't want to be separated from the group. So I'm going to put the kibosh on it from the very beginning. But he
Exactly.
did it in a way that wasn't mean or like I'm not doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he clearly has a lot of emotional intelligence. So he confirmed what I thought, but he went even further. I'm a huge Mike fan after this opening episode.
I
I think
like
he
him
can
too.
go really far.
I'm hoping he does. Like I feel like this is a great once again, I like this group. I like everyone.
Yeah.
I don't really have a problem with anyone. And I mean, you really can't have a problem. I mean, to be honest, you don't know these people. You just know what you see. And I think everyone did a great job. You know, there's some bumps in the road. You make mistakes. Yeah, Tori went off by herself in the beginning and she knew she shouldn't do that. But you never know what you're going to do until you're in that situation. We sit here
Correct.
and talk about Survivor and Big Brother and all these shows. I guarantee you we get on there and we're doing the polar opposite and we're all saying, you said you weren't going to do that. What are you doing?
And I
You know,
can't wait too, because, you know, if and when that ever happens to any of us, I want
yeah.
people prepared and ready with all of our footage in the back to be like, you're a fucking idiot. Remember when you said you wouldn't do this and then you did it? Here, roll the clip, you know, like
Here's
that's what I
something
want.
for you. I'm a total freaking hypocrite.
Yeah. Hello, I'm here to talk about a game I've never experienced before as if I
Yeah.
have experienced it. And then when I go to experience it, I'm a piece of garbage. So, yay.
Oh, can we talk about this real quick?
Yes.
Yes, Adrian. He says, also, why is the tribal immunity idol a dang snake trying to deep throat its own tail? Can I say I agree? The first thing I thought is, wow, children watch this show.
Do
We
we not
really
know
have
that
a s-
phrase? The snake eating
huh?
its own tail? That's a phrase.
Okay, but we don't need, it didn't look the way it should. It was dirty. I have a dirty mind. Adrian and I are in the same playing field as long as this goes. I am not about watching a snake deep throat
I
itself.
was more upset that the second tribe got the block that it stood on. Like that was barely even a part of an
Yeah, why the fuck?
immunity
What is
idol.
this?
This
Why
guy
don't
was
I
like,
get
here
a
you
little
go. Here's
snake?
the
Can
snake, and then here's the base it goes on, guys. And it wasn't even like an ornate base like they have done in the past. Like
can I just
giving
get
the
the egg
base is not a big deal. Giving the
for the
base that
snake?
looks like nothing.
Yeah, someone could freaking throw it in the fire.
Yeah.
What if that happens? I thought it was a piece of wood. Well, it is a piece of
My
wood.
bad. My bad. It was a piece of wood that was designed to look like dirt. It was so
Can we
weird.
not get a snake egg with the little snake coming out? Wait, that's not a snake. This is, I don't know what that is. A little snake. I don't know. I don't work for production. I'm not creative, but I don't want to see a snake with half its fucking ass in its mouth. It's gross. It threw me off. You guys know I do my exercise bike at slow speed when I watch this show. And you know how many times I almost fell off tonight? This is becoming a thing. I'm going to get hurt. I'm going to be that Peloton commercial of
I
the
can't
person dying.
wait.
I'm going to be
On
Mr. Big.
I'm kind of here for sorry. I just caught the second part of what you said.
Oh,
Um
sorry. Spoiler if you haven't seen that show. But anyway.
ah Um, so actually what's kind of interesting too, if we go back, they had the strength versus savvy kind of challenge, right? Where you do the
Yeah,
bucket of water. Remember last season,
they did the
both
bucket of water.
tribes chose to do the bucket of water. This time, both tribes chose to do the triangle puzzle and they got it. Like I said, I think that was the smarter move to do for all the reasons Mike outlined. But also I like the way that the Orange Tribe did it, which was, hey, 3 of us are too many cooks in the kitchen and we don't know what we're doing. We're going to let it just be the 3 of you. We're going to go build the shelter, divide and conquer. I felt like that was much better than 4 people versus like 1 going, or 5 people versus 1 off by themselves
Yeah,
doing the strength thing.
I thought it was smart. Girl, don't get me started. I am not solving that puzzle. Okay, I can do some puzzles. I'm actually still working on my Harley Quinn puzzle from 2
Ooh.
years ago. That's the speed I got. But
How many pieces?
It's 1,000 pieces. But here's the thing.
Okay.
I use my puzzle as a stress reliever and to think. When I need to think, I have a board upstairs, a little board with my puzzle on it. I'll go to the board and I'll work on my puzzle and think about things.
Yeah.
So that's why it's not done. I'm not that much of a grandma yet.
Definitely. I still, when I've looked at it, I've only been able to count 48 every time I've done it. So there's 3 that I'm missing somewhere.
Oh, God.
But like Adrian's saying that that this season they could have 2 answers, while last season it was just 1 answer that they had to get. So I do think that that does make a difference. Both tribes did have obviously 51 in there, but if it had been 1 guess, one of the tribes wouldn't have gotten it because 51 was their second guess, but one of the tribes would have gotten it because I guessed 51 and 52. So very interesting. But so anyway, I just thought that was interesting, an interesting comparison to last time. Overall, I just thought this was a really beautifully shot episode. I really appreciated how much depth we got from so many of the characters.
I wasn't bored one time.
I wasn't bored either. And I'll put this out there too, right? A lot of us were shitting on the challenges, or not the challenges, the twists from last season. And no, Tyler's not here, thank God, because otherwise we'd have to listen to that rant for 20 minutes. No, just kidding.
Oh, please. He's going to have a field day with this show.
It's going to be great. But let's talk about the amulet coin key. I guess it's a key thing. This is a newer twist. It's not too off base from what we learned from the idols last season, but this is something where if you had the amulet, so this is Hai, Jenny, and Drea, right? Jenny?
Mm-hmm.
No,
I think
not Jenny.
Lindsay. Drea. Oh, I can't remember.
Lindsay.
See, I'm still learning their names.
Jenny was on the island, but this was when they were doing the ore challenge. I think it was Lindsay. She was wearing that yellow kind of top or whatever.
Yeah.
So they had to make a split decision to say, yeah, we're going to do this. And then when they open it up, they realize, oh, wow, we just made this pact with everybody else, but the amulet is going to get stronger the less people who have an amulet that are left in the game. So that begs a couple questions. One,
Dre, Lindsay, and Hai.
Yeah.
Hey, hi.
Hi.
Hey, hi.
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 Yep. So Drea, Lindsay, and Hai all have them. So this begs a couple questions. One, will they throw a 4th amulet or something like that into the game where they don't know about it? Will that change the power? I doubt it, but it was something where I was like, well, this kind of reads like it's possible for another amulet to be brought into the game. If somebody leaves, is that amulet then hidden like an immunity idol? I doubt these things, but just putting it out there. And 2, what are they going to do? Are they going to potentially try to make sure the other people are voted out so they keep that power, or they automatically have people they can kind of work with in a merge or tribe swap situation?
I kind of got the feeling that if you eliminate the other 2 people, you've got the stronger power.
But then you also may not have the social capital. So you're starting off with 2 potential allies who are not on your tribe. And if there is a tribe swap, you might have someone you can work with, but you don't know if they're going to come after you or not because of this. Listen,
Beth, I'm just impressed I understood something. And didn't have to have Tyler explain it to me for 30 minutes before the show.
But don't you think that, like, I guess my point was, we all shat on all these things last time, but this time I didn't see people who were super confused online. I think we kind of followed it because we were kind of thrown in the deep end of the pool last time. Now we're like in the middle of the pool where we've got like our toes on the bottom of the pool.
Yeah.
So we're like still above water. We don't have to tread, but we're also like, okay, I'm starting to get it now.
Yeah. I mean, it's the first episode. There's no telling what they're going to throw at us next week. And I'll be back here going, I don't know what just happened. And then Tyler's going to go, well, of course you don't. I'm not surprised. And then has to explain it.
And I also think too that like, I think that they're doing a much better job at portraying the characters and making sure that it's a character-driven premiere where we're getting to know these people. I do think that next episode, we should still learn from the people we didn't get a backstory from. But then I'm guaranteeing they're going to go far into these twists over the next 3 or 4 episodes. And then it's going to level out. And then it's going to be the merge.
Right.
And then we're going to have another set of probably weird shit. And then we'll be good to go. But that's probably the new format of this is you get to know the characters and get introduced to these twists. Then it's all about the twists for a few episodes. Then it kind of levels out, merge, more new twists, level out, finale. So I kind of think that I'm fine with that personally, because I think this is an interesting level of gameplay.
Right.
Like in the first episode, you have to realize there are people on the other tribe who could fuck me up right now if they wanted to. Or I could work with them. How do you balance that and also try to get your footing with the current tribe that you're on? I think that's genius. I think that's such a cool dynamic to add to this game.
You know what hit me tonight, though, watching the show with the whole Jackson thing?
Mm-hmm.
I'm never going to be on Survivor.
Hell no, I'm not going to either.
I can't not
I would love
have...
to be,
I mean, I got so many med shit going on. I got to have my therapy. I can't not be in my Big Brother it is.
Well, and that's the other thing too. It's just a lot of these shows are
that's where my crazy belongs.
I wish I could do Survivor. I don't think I could ever do it for like, let's just say I get into shape and all that kind of stuff and I feel like I'm ready physically to take on the game. I don't think I could do it purely because I have Crohn's. I feel like they'd be like, no, we can't deal with you. Like if you aren't eating that much and you're only eating things that could be bad on your system, God knows what Crohn's is going to do to, bowel movements and all that kind of stuff. Like it could be really bad. I also get fatigued super easily. So I just don't think that it would be like my kind of game anymore, which is too bad. But on the same front, I'm like, well, yay, I don't have to like suffer in the sun outside for a few weeks.
I'm sitting over here laughing because I think it's my medication and crap that's going to keep me off Survivor. I would make it 2 seconds on that show for my fear of bugs and sand getting in my vagina.
I'm allergic to shellfish and I don't like fish.
Yeah,
who do I think I am?
There's no freaking way I could do it. I'm going to have doggy paddling everywhere. No.
See, that's the thing. No. I would be so good in a swimming challenge. I know people will probably look at me and go, I don't know about that. I had a school record in swimming. I was like 3rd place in my section for swimming when it came to freestyle. Yeah. I can dive deep, no problem. I have good breath control for that kind of stuff. Even out of shape, I still have it, right? And I used to love in the summer when I'd be like, playing in the lake before swim season would begin. Like my training for swim season was playing water tag with my brother and my like cousins and such. And we would play for hours at a time, no breaks, like literally for 5-6 hours and just be swimming back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and tag, tag, tag. You're it, blah, blah, blah. Only getting out of the water to like have something to eat to go right back in the water. Like
and hopefully bathroom breaks. We weren't urinating.
We peed in the lake. It's all good. It's all good. And we were shitting in the lake. We got out of the lake to do that. But it was like, I used to pretend all the time like this was some kind of Survivor challenge. Like that's what got me through playing it. I used to set like the floats and such up and go from there. That's the one thing I'm like, man, I miss my calling. I miss my ability to be like, yeah, now Beth has to dive down and untie the floaty thing that has a key on it. And like nobody else could get it, but Beth is super smart and like knows how to hold her breath. I don't know. Like that's the stuff that was going on in my head.
I feel like if doggy paddling were an Olympic event, I would have all 3 medals. I feel like I would
be the only one competing.
Right. Maybe, some little kids might be in there, but no, I just feel like, yeah, I would definitely kill it with that. But with that being said, I think we can wrap this up.
Well, the last thing we need to talk about then is just Zach getting voted out here. So
Yeah.
Zach gets voted out. Tori is able to deflect this target off of her, but I honestly think it came down to tribe strength, and they realized, I think, that Tori is probably a stronger person to have on their team. Zach, who, they were probably only really counting on him for a puzzle, and he didn't even do that correctly.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we see his game end here, and that's too bad, because I really think that, obviously, he's a super fan, but I think that as somebody who is used to these social strategy games, he would have been really interesting to see navigate the game.
He's the prototype, though, that makes it far. So I kind of
he's an Adam Klein.
He's an Adam Klein. So
he's a Christian.
I feel like we're in for a surprise. I don't get into the Survivor spoilers. I know there's people out there that I don't care. I don't care to know who's in the final or anything. I like to be surprised.
That's something to be said.
Yeah.
We love people talking to us about everything, but I don't care if it's this show or any other show that we cover and such. Please don't send me spoilers or hints of spoilers or anything like that. I don't want to know. Definitely for this show, I don't want to know. I'm in drafts where I'm making decisions every week, and I don't want that to impact what I'm making, because then I'm just cheating, and I don't like cheating. So, but I appreciate that. Any other last thoughts, Allison, about this episode altogether, this premiere?
I'm gonna say it. I'm kind of excited for Survivor for the first time in a long time. Last year I was in it, but I felt conflicted. And even the season before, when it came back, and I was excited, but yeah. But now I feel like Survivor's back, and I really feel like I'm excited again. Yeah, I don't know why. I just am. I'm like Wednesday. Not oh God, it's when I can't stand anybody in the cast. I don't care.
That's how I am with Big Brother.
Yeah, see, we can connect now.
We can totally connect. I really think that the reason why two things. One, I think that this cast has a lot of characters to it. I think regardless of how well they play the game, they're going to be entertaining regardless, right? So we have that. Two, whereas last season there were only like a few standout characters and everybody else was just kind of muted in comparison to them. Two, I think honestly, now that we have our heads wrapped around some of this like new formatting, it's going to be easier to follow this season, which is why I think people are a little bit more excited. Yeah. As y'all will remember, I didn't really shit too much on last season. I was excited by it. I didn't really shit too much on Winners at War. I shat a lot on Island of the Idols.
Yeah, I think I took a Jurassic Park sized dump on that one. There was there was a lot coming out of me for that.
But I do agree. I'm very excited about this season, and I can't wait to see what happens next week. So I didn't even watch
the. I'm doing something new this year, Beth. I'm not watching Next Time on Survivor.
Oh, interesting.
So I don't know what's going to happen. I didn't see that part, so I'm going to start doing that. Just to see, we'll see how long that lasts. I'll probably be watching it next week, but I'm trying. I'm trying to do.
It'll be interesting because there are some people we didn't hear from this time. Like I don't really think we heard too much from Mariah, for example, or Lindsay. Actually, all the white women we didn't hear from, which to be honest, that's fine with me because they probably don't have like.
You got two white women right here doing all the talking for you.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We got two white women talking now. We're good.
This is the Two White Women podcast.
We didn't update the patron graphic for this week, but I believe that Adrian did post earlier who lost somebody, which I believe was Liz and Matt. Excuse me, I think are the two people who lost one of their picks this week. So, excuse me, sorry, the seltzer came right back up, and I'm starting to burp a little bit.
Hey, look, better the attic than the basement.
Why not both?
Hey, sometimes it happens.
Hi. I drink a lot of seltzer and I have Crohn's. What's up?
What's up?
Why am I single, Allison?
How am I married?
I don't know. I don't know. You found someone who can match the crazy. That's what it is, and it can accept
crazy.
Can accept the crazy as well. Wonderful. Well, that
On
does
that
it
note,
for us. We're gonna go shit and burp at the same time, everybody.
I'm
We
gonna
hope
go try to shark.
a blurt in a shirt. All right.
Yeah. Hey,
Bye.
subscribe to the Patreon page. Look, I'm trying to be good here.
Okay.
Go to Patreon, look up My Weekly Meltdown, become a patron.
Patreon.com/myweeklymeltdown.
We're on the iTunes as well. Apple iPad tunes. And we are here on YouTube. You can subscribe and you will get a notification for when we go live. And spread the word. Get it out there.
Yeah.
This is a dumpster fire.
Yeah,
okay?
Don't you listen? There's so many amazing podcasts that cover Survivor, right? And there's
This
like
isn't one,
everything
but
that you're gonna
yes.
get. We are very unique in our coverage.
Yes.
And we like to think if you were interested in being entertained in a hot mess kind of way, hi.
Yeah, we're not really getting paid and we don't have advertisers. I mean, you know, I'm the boss, kind of.
I'm trying
What does that
real
tell
hard.
you?
I'm trying real hard.
Yeah.
Polar, listen to me.
Is that water?
Yeah, it's seltzer. It's what I drink all the time.
Wow.
Polar seltzer.
Kirkland from Costco. Bottled water.
Seltzer, baby.
All right, on that note, sleep
this
well.
This is not brought to you by Polar or Kirkland.
For all you BB Can people, real quick, this is the never-ending show. BB Can comes on, I think, at 7/6 Central tomorrow. We'll be live at 7/8/7 Central. Tyler will be back from Singapore. I can't wait to see this jet lag train.
I'm sure he's going to be half asleep on the show.
I can't wait.
It's going to be great.
Because this is a good season as well. Guys, goodbye.
Bye. You got to end it.
Hi.